Hello. I want us to look at this question on the left side of the screen, Nesud Co. I love this company a lot. Look at this question. It's a very fantastic one because this question actually touches on both we've done on inventory management and as well as account receivable management. And if you remember, the major reasons why we manage these two items is just because we want to minimize the cost associated with managing them. And what are those costs associated with managing inventories and receivables? We said purchase cost, holding cost, ordering cost, very important. And for receivable, we said we want to manage finance cost, admin cost, and bad debt. Yeah, so if you go through this question, if you read this question, you can take 1 or 2 minutes to read it. You have Nesud, who sells 45 million in a year. With payable days of 60 days. And now, one of its suppliers has offered this company 0.5% discount if, instead of paying within 60 days, is happy to pay within 30 days. And once that happens, it means that Nesud will have to look for fund to pay within 30 days because naturally his business model is to pay within 60 days. And if he agrees to pay within 30 days, he will be spending additional $500 on administrative activities. And likewise, Nesud is a company that buys a component worth of 1.5 million in a year. So that is the first paragraph. And that's relevant for the requirement A that says evaluate whether Nesud companies should accept the early settlement discount that has been offered by its supplier. Remember what I told you, that is a typical way of testing your understanding of this concept. You will be asked to recommend to a company whether they should use a particular approach or not. Once you are asked to do that, all you need to do is you need to find out what is the total cost. Currently. And what will be the total cost if we take the suggested approach, in this case, early settlement discount? What is the total cost for these two? When you look at all these costs and you list them out and you get the total cost, the cheaper, definitely the better. And that is exactly what we want to do today. So we're going to identify all these costs currently and with early settlement discount. Based on that, we will decide whether Nesud should accept the early settlement discount proposal. Now, the question is, out of these 6 costs, which ones will be relevant for early settlement discount that we have in this paragraph? Definitely, if we're going to get a discount, our purchase cost will reduce. For this item, holding cost is not relevant, and likewise ordering cost for early settlement discount that we're working on. Because number one, there's no even reference to that discussion on this one, and we don't have that information for this particular product that we are looking at. Finance costs, yes, finance costs will be affected as well, because if we have to pay within 30 days instead of 60 days, we'll have to find a finance for additional 30 days where we would have had to pay our payables. And likewise, admin cost has been clearly shown there, $500 will be relevant. Bad debt, no information about that, so we'll leave it out. So we're practically going to be looking at 3 items of cost: the purchase cost, the finance cost, and the admin cost. And that is what we need to do. So we'll list it out: purchase cost, admin cost, and finance cost. So we're going to calculate that, yeah, for current situation and early settlement discount. So currently, the purchase cost was stated in the question as 1.5 million. So yeah, 1.5 million as the purchase cost. And admin cost currently is 0. Finance cost, we'll leave it at 0 because currently we finance at 60 days and we're fine with that. Yeah, but if we decide to go for early settlement discount, definitely we're going to get some discount, and instead of paying 1.5 million, we're going to be getting a discount of 0.5%. So which means we only have to pay 99.5% of what we used to pay. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say there. So currently we pay 100%, which is 1.5, but the question says that if we decide to go for early settlement discount, we'll be entitled to 0.5%. So let me call this working one. So if I do working one here, it means that under ESD, the purchase cost will be equals to 99.5% multiplied by 1.5 million. Yeah, I got 99.5% because 100% minus 0.5% discount. And that will give us a purchase cost of 1.492,500. And that will be the new cost if we decide to go for early settlement discount. That's the purchase cost. Admin cost will go up as well, 500. And finance cost. What will happen to finance cost? Let's find out. Currently, how much is our account payable? We need to know the current account payable and the new, which is the revised account payable, and see the different amount that we have to finance, because we will not be able to delay that payment. So current account payable at 60 days payment days. Remember this formula: account payable days equals to account payable balance divided by purchases, credit purchases, times 365. So if we use that approach, we'll have to calculate account payable balance. So account payable balance will be equals to account payable days of 60 days multiplied by credit purchase of 1.5. That's the credit purchase, 1.5 million, divided by 365. And I think the question asks us to assume 360 days, so I'm going to use 360 days. Yeah. You need to pay attention what the question is saying, very important. Sometimes it's quiet about it, use 365. But if specifically the question has said assume there are 360 days in a year, so you work with 360 days. And based on that, you have a current account payable. So currently they have account payable of $250,000. That is the current account payable balance. But if we decide to take early settlement discount, it means we have to pay within 30 days. So if we have to pay within 30 days, we're going to have revised account payable using 30 days. And that will be equals to 30 days multiplied by 1.5 divided by 360. And that will give us 125,000. So which means we'll only be allowed to have $125,000 account payable instead of 250 we used to have. Then the 125 we have to be paid. And to pay this, we need to source for fund. If you look at the question, the overdraft is at 4%. So anytime A company needs financing. Remember, I've said it before. You will always assume that the company will finance itself with overdraft. So the extra 125,000 that needs to be paid, that cannot be delayed, will be financed at 4%. So which means we have an additional finance cost of 4% multiplied by 250k minus 125k. Yeah, so that is 4% multiplied by 125,000, and that will give you additional financing cost of $5,000. So we need to add that as a new cost, 5,000. So eventually, if you get the total cost under the current scenario remains 1.5 million. Under the revised proposed early settlement discount, add everything together, we have 1498. 1498 000. So that's 1.498. So if we decide to take early settlement discount, we can see that our purchase cost has reduced, but our admin cost has gone up, our finance cost has gone up by 5,000. But putting everything into consideration, the total cost attributable to this proposal is 1.498 compared to 1.5 we currently have. So with that, you can categorically conclude that the company should take early settlement discount because it gives extra benefit of 2,000, as you can see. That's 1.5 minus 1.498. So with that extra benefit, it only makes sense for the company to take the early settlement discount. I hope that is very clear. So I go to the B, and that is relating to component K, which is the second paragraph, from a different supplier. Nesud Co. purchases 2.4 million per year. So we know that the annual purchase is $2.4 million a year. And price is $5. So we know that with this information alone, you can get the annual quantity of 2.4 million divided by $5. And that will give 480,000 units. So in a year, we always order 480,000 units of component K. Consumption of component K can be assumed to be at a constant rate through the year. So if there's a constant rate through the year, that means every month we are always going to buy 480,000 divided by 12. So that is 40,000 units. Per month, because the consumption is very constant. So we can assume every month 40,000. So which means we're going to have how many orders? We're going to order 12 times. So number of orders obviously will be 12 because we order every month. And 40,000 every month. Yeah, will give us 480,000 that we need on an annual basis. The company orders component at the start of each month in order to meet demand, and the cost of placing each order is 248.44. So ordering cost every time you place order is 248.44. The holding cost for component K is 1.06 per unit per year. Take note. Okay, so that's information they've given to us for component K. The question is, evaluate whether Nesud Co. should adopt an EOQ approach to ordering component K. And similar approach that we used for for the previous product is to list out the relevant cost and go for the cheaper option. Yeah. So what are the relevant costs here? Remember, this is EOQ. If you are looking at EOQ, you are looking at inventory cost. What are the relevant inventory costs? Let's look at it. So we're going to look at annual purchase cost. So I'll just call it purchase cost. Yeah, annual purchase cost. We're going to look at the holding cost, annual holding cost. Yeah, remember all these costs are annual, so take note. Annual cost. We'll look at the current, and we'll look at EOQ approach. So we have holding, we have othering costs that we need to check, and those are the relevant costs for the inventory that I want to look at. The annual purchase cost, whether it's EOQ or currently, the annual purchase cost is fixed. The annual purchase cost remains 2.4 million for both scenarios. So we're not going to bother ourselves about it. It doesn't make any difference whether we stick to current situation or we adopt EOQ. It remains 2.4 million. But the holding cost definitely will not be the same. So let's look at what is happening currently. So currently, they order 40,000 per order. So annual holding cost we need to calculate with the formula average inventory multiplied by holding cost per unit per year. And what's the average inventory? Average inventory is opening plus closing divided by 2. So they always open with the 40,000 order they have to order at the beginning of the month, and definitely they'll sell it at the end of the month to 0, and they open again the following month. Yeah, so they open January with 40,000. By December they will have finished the December order to 0. So average inventory is 40,000 plus 0 over 2, then multiply by 1.06. So that is holding cost. And how much would that give us? Press your calculator, you're going to have 21,200. So we'll put that. Currently we have 21,200. And for the annual ordering cost, annual ordering cost is number of orders times cost per order. So number of orders currently is 12, as we said earlier, if you remember. Yeah, because we order constantly, and if it's 480,000 in a year and we order every month, then we're going to order 12. Yeah, 40,000 12 times to give us 480 that we need. So annual ordering cost is number of orders 12 times cost per order, and cost per order is 248.44, and that will give 2,981.28. And we'll put that there as well. So current ordering cost is 2,981.28. Now, under EOQ, what will be each of these be? We need to calculate it, which means we need to know the EOQ itself. So that's the first thing to calculate, EOQ. What's our economic order quantity? You remember the formula? Say the square root of 2 multiplied by annual demand multiplied by ordering cost by order divided by holding cost. So we know that our annual demand is our annual demand currently is roaming around 480,000. Yeah, because annual quantity we needed, we calculated it somewhere. Yes, here. Annual quantity required said we needed 480,000 in a year. So multiply by 480K, multiply by ordering cost of 248.44. All of that divided by 1.06. Square root of all of that will give you the economic order quantity of 15,000 units. So if we have to order 15,000 every time we order 15,000 units, then how many times do we have to order? Definitely we'll have to order 480 that we need every time. 480 that we need in a year divided by the quantity we order every time to get the number of orders. So, but let's do holding cost first, just to follow the same process with it. So we need to get our holding cost, but we're going to use the same formula: average inventory multiplied by holding cost per unit. So annual holding cost will be equals to 15,000. That's what we'll now have to be ordering every month. Divided by 2 multiplied by 1.06. That is annual holding cost. And with the help of calculator, that will give 7,950.04. 7,950. So we'll plug that in. 7,950. 7,950.04. Yeah, I can bet the same will be for ordering cost, because remember I said anytime you use EOQ, your annual holding cost is always the same as your annual ordering cost. And let's prove that. So annual ordering cost is calculated as number of orders multiplied by cost per order. So number of orders is annual demand divided by ordering quantity, which is 15,000, multiplied by cost per order, and cost per order was given to be 248.44. With your calculator, this will as well give 7,950.04. So the same as we have for holding cost. So let's sum together all the total relevant cost. If you add everything together, currently we are spending 2,424,181 on inventory. But if we move to EOQ, we'll be spending 2,415,900 on inventory. So the question is, with this inventory total costs of managing it, which option is better? EOQ is cheaper, and it's cheaper by about 8,281. So the question says, evaluate whether Nesud should adopt EOQ. So the response will be, considering the total cost of managing inventory under the current scenario and EOQ as proposed, Nesud Co. should adopt EOQ because the company will be saving about $8,281 on the cost of managing its inventory. And that will earn you your full marks. The C part of the question is also an account receivable. And that is critically discuss how Nesud Co. could improve the management of its receivable. Yeah, we dealt with this in my video on managing account receivable. I said, anytime you see this question, think about things the company needs to do before even giving credit. Think about what he would do, yeah, after he had also given credit. Yeah, and what are the things you would do to manage your credit before you give credit? You should have a credit worthiness check policy. So check the credit worthiness of customers. You can introduce credit cap or what you call credit limit. Very important. When you do all of that, it helps you to know who exactly you are giving credits to. And when you know the person, you know the maximum amount you should be giving that kind of person, right? So the company should also have a strict credit policy. It provide guidance on how credit should be given, what should be checked, what are the process, so that people just don't use their personal feelings, don't use their personal beliefs, but a standardized approach to doing whatever they want to be doing. So very important to do all of that. Yeah, before you even give credit to a customer. So you need to know your customer. You need to know their debt capacity so that you can set the appropriate credit cap for them. And you check their credit worthiness as well. But after you've given that credit, first thing you must do is you need to invoice as quick as possible. So issue invoice promptly. Very importantly. Yeah, and likewise, you should follow up even after you have issued the invoice. Follow up. Don't wait until the customer is totally inaccessible or unreachable before you follow up. You should follow up quickly. You can also adopt invoice discounting. And if it's getting too difficult, you can as well get a factoring agent to support you to chase that money. Very, very, very important. So, because when you look at this question, this is a 10 marks question. At a minimum, you should be able to discuss 5 ways this company can actually manage its receivable. And if you're able to do that, list it and explain each of them, like at the minimum 1 paragraph each for each of these methods, you should be able to get your 2 marks each. Because this kind of question, you list, you get 1 mark. But you list and explain, you're able to get 2 marks. And for 5 points, you get 10 points. And that's Nesud company. Please, as I always tell you, if you have any further question, if anything is not clear in this question I've solved, let me know. Put in your comment. Reach out to me. And if you like it, please like the videos and continue to share the link. Thank you, guys. The next question I will be solving will be Wobnik, and that will be my next video. Bye for now, guys.